Many people will tell you that you will never be the same after narcissistic abuse, and I completely agree, but it is so black and white. It's a make or break experience, and we have a choice. And what I love about the Thriver work and the understanding is that we can claim the opportunity as per narcissistic abuse to completely heal up into our true self and walk into our true life. And this is the thing, this is not despite what happened to us, it's actually because of what happened to us. And let me explain. Narcissists, when they come into your life, they are very, very skilled at being able to identify what's missing in your life or what's still hurting you. And the thing is, for us, this was our normal, because whatever the composition is of our inner being, how much self we do or don't have is our normal. It's all we've ever known. And if we grew up in families where, and most families weren't emotionally present because they didn't know the importance of it, and there's not the training, especially in Western society. People are very, very busy surviving and putting food on the table and whatever, even if they're not abusive people. And even if they're not neglectful and nasty, they're just busy. But if we didn't have the mirroring and the training in our life that we're lovable for self and that we're valued for self, if we believed that we had to earn love, or we had to perform for love, or maybe we had to look after other people's woundedness to be able to get love, approval, survival, and security, and there's so many other things there, we may not have developed a self or boundaries or understood how to value ourselves and how to know our values and back those values in life. So what we've been doing in life is having our traumas, our inner fractures, and our inner undeveloped parts emotionally, and trying to navigate life like that. And as children, we had no choice. We couldn't lay boundaries with the adults in our life. It's not like at 5 years of age, if you had a neglectful or an alcoholic or a narcissistic parent, and you could just say to them, well, I'm leaving you because this isn't my truth and I'm not going to live with this. We had to hand parts of ourselves away to try to survive, and absolutely, by handing over power, you handing over self, or not developing a self. So we walk forward into our adult relationships with stuff, and that's really, really normal. And that stuff, it's making it difficult in interpersonal relationships to be able to navigate and have boundaries and have the difficult conversations when necessary, and be able to lose it all to get it all. In other words, live your values and your truth, and grant people the opportunity to step up, but let go of them and still retain self if they don't have the capacity or the desire to meet you at truth and unity and teamwork and solution building, which is so important for interpersonal relationship. We didn't know this stuff. So what happens is a narcissist comes into our life, and they're very, very skilled at working out where you haven't been met, what's missing, what you're craving, or what still hurts. Very skilled at it. So, for example, if you felt invisible in your family and you felt unworthy, the narcissist will make you feel so met and seen and so worthy that you'll be like a person in a desert that's found an oasis. So you get bonded very, very quickly. If you were harassed and controlled and infiltrated and violated, the narcissist will grant you space and be very, very respectful. And again, you feel like you've hit the jackpot. And I could give you example after example, but this is how it works. And then what happens is, once you're bonded, without knowing it, The narcissist has become your emotional, mental, practical, financial, it's become love, approval, survival, and security to you, has become your source. And unfortunately, it's a false source, because as an adult, that kind of source that we have is a dependency. And really what it's coming from is the wounded child within is looking for an adult to do it right this time. And it's incredibly dangerous. And it's incredibly unhealthy, and it's actually codependent without us understanding that. Because then what happens is we're going to tolerate abuse. We're not going to lose it all to get it all. We're not going to lay boundaries. We're not going to walk away. We're not going to command step up or step out. We don't have the self, the adult self, to have the power to do that. And the reason we don't is because we're connected to a false source instead of true source, which is our higher power, our higher consciousness. You may call it God, you may call it life force, whatever you want to call that higher true power, that infinite wisdom and power of true self, true source. We don't have that connection of wholeness and power and peace and wisdom. We don't have it. We're still wounded children in adult bodies. Now, the gift of narcissistic abuse, albeit at first we don't understand this, and I probably would have slapped somebody right back then if they'd have said this is a gift. I would have said, you are off your rocker. How disgusting of you to even say that. So please know I empathize with you, stuck in the trauma, but this I want you to know, because not only is it going to save your life, it's going to change your life beyond description. When you take your power back, you understand at the quantum level, the bigger, deeper, wider, true picture, what's really going on here. The narcissist is highlighting and bringing up for you everything that's unhealed, that's not solid and whole within you. And it's exactly what's getting triggered off within you. That's your unhealed parts. Now, in the past, those parts were unconscious because they were your normal. You just thought that was normal. So for me, I always thought, my anxiety, my depression, which, I could sort of work my way out of it. And I was pretty obsessive compulsive, and I was always addicted to something, and I'd learned how to get addicted to healthy things. But I was always trying to avoid those parts of myself. I didn't know that. That's just what I did. And I always found that life had stop-start results, and I'd get ahead and then I'd fall back, and the beliefs that life was tough and I was a really hard worker and I could be really successful, but it was so hard. But that was my normal, and I was always burnt out. But, there I was. And I was very hard on myself. I had no idea how to self-love and self-partner and self-soothe and self-heal. And again, all of that disconnection was my normal. So the narcissist came along, and I was the woman in the desert, and I'd found my oasis, and oh my God, I felt like I'd come home. But I didn't realize that I'd come home to a false source who was not the healer of my wounds or the savior. He was actually the messenger. And once I was hooked on him, then he could switch the tables, where he would start attacking my wounds, my abandonment issues, my terrors of persecution, my fears of not being recognized and known for who I was, for being accused of things I would never do. All of the things that had always terrorized my soul and always held me back. And my fears of authority with abuse by proxy and just so many things. He found all of them, and he smashed the crap out of all of them, to the point where I had a psychotic adrenal breakdown that I was told I would never recover from. And I ended up being a bag of bones. All my hair fell out. I had CPTSD, I had agoraphobia through the roof, I had fibromyalgia, I had and complete brain damage from the psychotic breakdown that I was told I would need 3 antipsychotics for the rest of my life. I was told I would never recover, that I would only ever be able to function at a very minimal level on the antipsychotics. It was game over. It was life over. All of that was not the truth. So really what I was told was I had a breakdown, that I was completely going to be dissolving, and that I was disintegrating. And that was my reality. The truth was this breakdown ended up being my greatest breakthrough. My dissolving turned into profound evolving. My disintegration became my greatest integration. So here's the thing in regard to narcissistic abuse. Your greatest gold is mined from your darkness. And what does that mean? It means now our hidden, unconscious wounds, our deepest primal fears and insecurities and fractures and non-wholeness is finally fully activated and up to the surface. It's the obsessions, it's the trauma, it's the reason why we can't stop shaking. It's the reason why we're having nightmares. It's the reason why we can't walk out our front door. Heck, it's the reason you can barely get out of bed and make a cup of tea, because this trauma is now fully activated and it is hijacking every part of your being, your life, and those and which you love. It's game over now in regard to just being able to get up and get on with it. And it doesn't matter what you research. It doesn't matter how many times you stalk your narcissist to try to work out their next move. It doesn't matter how many abuse forums you jump on and you get on. It doesn't matter how much talk therapy you do to try to research, talk, and think your way out of your trauma. You can't. Why? Because this finally is the call for you to turn inwards, to self-partner and meet your inner being with love and devotion for the greatest mission of your life ever, which is to load up, hold, release that trauma, which is all of your trauma bonds to a false self, to clean yourself out, to replace it with your connection to true self. And when you do that work, which is what my Thriver work is all about, what happens is the trauma, the terror, the powerlessness, the lifelessness, the depression, the anxiety, all of your trauma symptoms start to leave, because it was the trapped trauma in your body generating all of it. And what starts to get replaced is peace, solidness, wholeness, wisdom, power, and the greatest return to love you've ever known. It is the love you've been looking for your entire life. And what happens from there is a grand reset of everything that you've known as your life. And as you come out of dissolve into evolve, as you come out of disintegration to integration, as you come out of the breakdown into the breakthrough, you raise up into a trajectory of life that you never had access to before with your trauma. So not only do you get free of all of the obsessions and the pulls and the powerlessness against the narcissist, you raise to a level of not just freedom from abuse, but freedom to start being your true self, which means loving, authentic, radiant, as well as powerful and fierce, so that you finally become the master of your true life. I really hope that this video has inspired you. And I want to recommend to every single one of you, if you know that there is more to your life than this, if you know that you are sick of the struggle with this, if you know there's got to be a reason for this, and if this video resonated with you, please check out exactly how I and thousands of other people in this community came out of the bowels of hell into being able to embody and actualize heaven on earth, which is who we are as a true self without our trauma. Check out the link that I put with this video, because it's my exact program that I worked out in this transformation from death to life on exactly how to get this done. Check out the link with the video, and I so hope this has inspired you and you can feel it in every cell of your body, because it's the absolute truth. Lots of love. Bye-bye.